Hello everyone. Well, today, the 4th of July, has been termed a National Thank You Day. And so perhaps I could start by saying thank you, Reverend Leslie, for inviting me to the church services today. But as I explained, we have a thank you of our own to celebrate with the christening of our youngest grandson, who was actually a lockdown baby born in July last year. So I hope you have a successful service. But thank you also for giving me the opportunity of saying a few words. And so, as I said, it's Thank You Day, and it's a time to pause to say thank you to everyone, really, who's helped get us all through, at least nearly all through, these rather unprecedented 18 months. And I know today is about having a great thank you party, and maybe that's absolutely right. But of course, we need to remember all the individual and personal tragedies that this last nearly 18 months has resulted in. And certainly, my wife and I, our own family, we've had both the loss of a friend and the loss of a family member to COVID, and had that rather unusual experience of attending their funerals online. Just one of many new experiences. But it's been an unexpected 18 months since we heard that message, go home, stay home, that lockdown message. But mindful of all the personal tragedies, it's also worth reflecting that, and it's often true in any crisis, there can be many positives as well. And a thank you day like today is also about celebrating those positives. From a personal thing, I remember last year the quiet, listening to even more birdsong as a result of that quiet, and perhaps a time to reflect and a time to consider all the changes that many of us have had to deal with. But today, maybe it's the opportunity to just reflect on those positives. And I suppose right up there for me is the feeling that there's been the development of a bigger sense of community. And right at the heart of that has been Farnham Connect. Not so much an organisation, but a forum that's brought together all these different organisations across Farnham to lend their support, both individuals and organisations, to help people according to their needs across Farnham. And it's brought together in a form of collaboration many organisations who perhaps wouldn't have had that before these COVID times. So since last March, I've been able to participate and privileged to participate in Farnham Connect meetings on behalf and representing the Farnham Society. There's always been about 20 plus participants, initially every week at these meetings, which is remarkable. As I said, it's brought together so many different organisations to each play their part. As I said, the Farnham Society is the organisation I've represented. It's one of the oldest Farnham organisations, dating back to 1911, which struck me as a particular relevance, given that that was before probably the last major pandemic, the flu pandemic in the aftermath of the First World War, that generation had to deal with. But it's the sense of community which I think has been remarkable, a reawakening, people volunteering, people willing and wanting to help. And some of that continues. The Farnham Connect meetings continue, and we're looking at a programme to deal perhaps with some of the difficulties that people feel that have come out of a feeling of isolation, and of course the churches are at the very heart of that. But Farnham Connect wouldn't really have been more than just a good idea without some remarkable leadership. The leadership of the team at Farnham Maltings, and in particular Gavin Stride, who got this initiative up and running, has chaired the various meetings. So it's necessary to say a big thank you to the Farnham Maltings team, and thank you, Gavin, but also to our town council and to our mayor and our past mayor, who've participated regularly, along with our GPs, who've played such an important role in this awakening of community and support to Farnham. Of course, the challenge now is to how do we keep some of these benefits and keep it going? There are many positives that we don't want to lose. I've mentioned community, I've mentioned collaboration and volunteering, and that sense of a willingness to participate, to enrich and serve our colleagues living in Farnham, the Farnham community. So out of times of crisis can often come these positives. And maybe we should make this National Thank You Day perhaps a new Remembrance Day. We don't forget those that have been lost, but we actually say thank you. And perhaps that could be a new event in our national calendar that recognises and celebrates what people brought together can do and achieve. People like to volunteer, people like clearly to help out, and people like to have that sense of community about where they live. Perhaps we can remember the COVID Cs, as I'd like to call them, the Cs of Connect, Farnham Connect, collaborate, community, and above all, the changes that we've all had to deal with and experience. Even recently, our own family, many of whom have actually had COVID, have had COVID just recently, so we aren't over the particular crisis yet. Now, we've celebrated the NHS, and rightly so, given what they have done for all of us. But perhaps a legacy in this Remembrance Day that I've been reflecting on is about a new NHS, at least a new initials NHS. It's about saying thank you to all those who've come together and provided what is in effect been a national help service. Now that would be a positive, and that would be a very positive legacy for us to have available for future crises, both locally and nationally going forward. So thank you, Reverend Leslie, for the opportunity of saying a few words. I wish you a happy day, and thank you.